Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Hakuoki Ito Blossoms in Sanen's Route in Chapter 3, and we just saw Sen and Kimigiku and Sanen had run off, and we're gonna follow him. Of course we are, because we love him. And we're gonna find him, and it's gonna be beautiful. I love him so much. Why? I don't know. I just do. Anyway. Summer loomed in the near future, evidenced by the fallen cherry blossoms cascading onto our sore shoulders, which were tired and slumped with grief. After days of investigation, Sen, Kimigiku, and I were gathered to deliberate on a fresh lead provided by Kimigiku's hawk-like diligence.
Martial law is spread where? In
Kane Temple? Okay, something like that.
You mean the one in Ueno?
Ueno? I think so. I don't know. Oh, don't make me say it again. Anyway. Kane Temple? Kane Temple? And I don't know with the apostrophe, because I don't know. What is that supposed to be? God damn it, tablet. The fuck this? Oh, did this last time. Anyway. A shrine dedicated to the Tokugawa clan. It was established by Iemitsu Tokugawa and founded by High Priestess Tenkai in 1625. 6 of the 15 Tokugawa shoguns have been buried here. My fucking surface went black because it went off. So I pushed the button to turn it on. No, tap the screen, push the button. No, it just turns itself off. I'm sick of this fucking thing. Because it's not because it needs to reboot and restart, because it did that the other fucking day after I was like, what the hell? Why did you just do this? And then no, I don't want to slide to shut down my fucking PC. I want you to stop being a dumb fuck. God damn it. Fucking Windows. Son of a bitch hole. God, I'm just starting to play and I need my fucking guy. Don't be a dickhole. Anyway. But it did. It shut down, rebooted itself, and I was like, whatever. I mean, it shouldn't be... I was gonna say, the battery looks like it's empty, but it's plugged in all the fucking time. Anyway.
Ueno, an area that houses the Tokugawa clan in Edo. Kane Temple is located here, as its location is central to the rest of the city.
The game just starts me off. Aye, my lady. As of now, the surrounding town has closed itself off entirely, and no one can enter, and civilians are prohibited from leaving as well. Is it because Lord Yoshinobu is currently residing in Kane Temple? Kane Temple? I don't know where the accent's supposed to go. You know what I mean? Sometimes the little line over it or the whatever, and I know these things, but that, I don't know. I don't know where that's just there for funsies. I don't know. I haven't learned about that yet. I don't know. Upon his return to Edo, Lord Yoshinobu Tokugawa notoriously spent his penance following his disastrous showing in Kyoto, holed up in Ueno's Kanai Temple. We're just gonna fucking run with him. Just gonna make up words as we go. It hadn't surprised me in the slightest to consider that the temple was well fortified in a glorified attempt to save face. Sen hadn't shared in my amusement. She crossed her arms in frustration, shaking her head sternly.
No, something isn't adding up. When Edo Castle tendered their surrender to the Imperial Army, Yoshinobu had reportedly traveled to Mito in an act of self-preservation.
And by then, the only oh, fuck. Sorry. I forgot. I read that and there was blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mito domain, one of the 3 houses of the Tokugawa. The domain and their daimyo? Closer? I don't know. Have had strong nationalist tendencies for generations. You know that word fucks me up every time. Anyway.
By then, the only persons left to occupy the temple were the Shogi Company, his esteemed guard.
The Shogi Company, an elite force loyal to the Shogun. You mean his esteemed guards? Never would have guessed. Wait, does this mean there's some other reason for why the temple is initiating drastic measures? Do you think Shogi Company is gearing for battle? Indeed. Allegedly, the Imperial Army has sent some of their covert espionage units to perform raids in Ueno in the dead of night. Dead of night? Performing espionage missions was one thing, but doing so while the building was already under the Imperial Army's jurisdiction was curious behavior. There must have been another reason why... 2 options sprung to mind immediately. Either the unit wasn't capable of moving during the day, or they intentionally obscured their movements. Or they were incapable of moving during the day and are intentionally obscuring their movements because twofold. I'm just saying it could be both. Maybe it's the Imperial Army's Furies?
I hypothesized the same conclusion myself. The placement of the units correspond with this theory as well, given that the formation is designed with the purpose of blocking any outside infiltration.
If anything were to happen, we'd have no idea. I presumed that Father was leading the Fury Corps. So too, could we guess that Sanan was somewhere in his midst, though I hoped otherwise.
I don't suppose you'd entertain any suggestion for you to remain behind, would you?
Fuck that shit! I want to join you. I'm terrible at everything, but I need to go save my man. At least so he can save me, and then... Can't blame her for that necessarily. If somehow, defying all perilous odds, we managed to infiltrate the temple and confronted Sun and her father, what words could I even confront them with? God damn it, Sun, and I love you. Why would you do this to me? If we don't go, we'll never get to say that to him. So I'm just saying we should go, even though we suck. My heart ached as I struggled to find them. But for now, all we could do is prepare to embark. Cannon fire shook the ground with piercing bombast as we edged closer to Ueno. Ueno? Yeah. Imperial, they like the word bombastic and bombast, don't they? Like say bombastic. I've just never heard that word so much in my motherfucking life, except for like outside of like the 80s. Maybe once in a song, but like that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever like. It's just not a word that. I guess it's because I don't hear cannon fire often, but it's weird. Imperial soldiers were stationed on every street corner leading toward Kanei Temple, whatever, fuck it. Captain Crunch Temple, including the main entrance we'd originally hoped to use. Ueno, at one point a central hub for the exchange of cultural ideas, was reduced to a military blockade. As Kimigiku had foretold, the well-armed guards served as a serious deterrent for anyone planning on traveling through the residential area. It was just like you said. This gives me the creeps.
Right? Ueno's become more than a ghost town. A little more than a ghost town. And not a single sign of movement in or out.
I shall scout ahead to see if there are any exposed areas. Stay close behind me, you two. Kimigiku moved so swiftly it looked as though her feet floated above the cobblestones. Good lord. An amber sunset bid the light of the day farewell, covering our surroundings in a dim orange hue. We took advantage of the limited exposure to sneak through a dense forest just outside of the temple. From here, it looks like a straight shot into Kanei Temple. Let's keep going. I know I'm saying that wrong, but fuck it. I'm just going with it now. We all glanced toward the town, noticing that the exchange of cannon fire halted in the distance. Was the battle over, I wondered? Were we too late? If possible, try not to look down. No sooner had the words left Kimigiku's mouth when glimmers of moonlight eked through the tree branches rustling overhead. Well, you say don't look down, and I'm gonna look down and see dead bodies. Despite Kimigiku's warning, I saw it. The nauseating scent of rust filled my nose, thickening in the air like a stale, damp fog. I had to stop myself from gagging as I realized what we were looking at. Bodies torn and disemboweled beyond recognition, drained of blood like plums pressed without juice. Did we need the mental images in this game? This is horrible. This is the work of the Fury Corps. Of that I am certain. The Shogi Company was massacred here, and they never stood a chance, it seems.
More worrying is the fact that I see no signs of Kodo, Sanan, nor their Furies anywhere in our vicinity.
Agreed. However, the lack of artillery fire may mean that the blockade will lift soon. We must hurry if we want to avoid any potentially unwanted attention.
We should split up and cover more ground. I'll head right. Kiku, you head left.
I'll stay here.
Spacey, stay within this area. Keep an eye out for any strange movement.
Although I don't want to stay here because it smells like blood and dead bodies, and that's gross. Understood, my lady. If anything happens, please signal me. How? Call you on your phone? All right, Sen, Kimigiku, please watch out for yourselves. The two of them nodded and slinked into the darkness. All of a sudden, I found myself alone. Sonen's gonna find you, don't worry. I shut my eyes, clearing my mind and taking in a deep breath. Nerves were getting the better of me. Our next option in the guide is give him blood, so I'm just saying we're gonna find him sooner or later. And obviously, we know in every single chapter we have to give him blood. So I'm just saying we're gonna find him at some point in this chapter. First things first, I need to find any signs of Sonnen or father. I didn't take him more than 2 steps when... It's Sonnen. He knew it. Ah! A slender hand shot out from the darkness, covering my mouth and muffling my desperate shriek. I told you he was gonna come find us. Don't move. It was... Oh, look at how precious he is. Okay, I'm okay with her derp eyes right now because, again, this is like the, like she literally just had her wits fucking scared out of her. Please, calm yourself. I've no intention of harming you. I know you don't because you love me. If I relinquish my hand, can you swear not to make a peep or do anything rash? Without moving the rest of my body, I tepidly nodded. Just grab him and kiss him, goddammit. Sonnen waited for a second and released his hold. No, I want to stay on that CG. He's so beautiful. No. As soon as Sonnen took his arms off of me, I ignored my promise, grabbing a hold of him while frantically speaking under my breath. Oh. Sonnen, what are you doing here? Lower your voice. I thought we had an agreement that you wouldn't speak. How do you expect me to stay quiet? Do you have any idea how long I've been searching for you? Oh. He's so much more romantic than, like, everyone. What the fuck? Why does he get such a bad rap? All you needed was a little bit of love. He needed just a little bit of love, and look how wonderful he is. I can't handle this. I'm gonna die. God damn it. From the bottom of my heart, I regret having left in such a crude manner. I never would have guessed, however, that you would come searching for me, much less resign from your post. Mind explaining why you're here? Because I'm looking for you. What part of that didn't you get? Slap him. As if he had any right to complain, Sonnen shook his head, speaking in a pedantic tone of voice. Well, I'm risking my life coming all the way out here because there's something I wanted to ask of you. I wanted to know why you left the Shinsengumi. Why you left me. I can't handle this! Because you, more than anyone else, inspired toil and confusion in my aching heart. In truth, had you not come, this mission would have been simpler by a magnitude of difference. But I find myself drawn to the sentiment behind your ceaseless pursuit. Irony is a cruel mistress. What do you mean? I desire nothing more than to explain, but we're short on time, unfortunately. I love him so much. He loves us so much. I can't even handle this. I'm gonna cry. Not really, but almost, maybe. I don't know. I love him so much, guys. I hadn't imagined that the Imperial Army's furies would be capable of such effortless depravity. Sonnen's eyes darted nervously at the line of corpses strewn underneath her feet, and he squinted. Sonnen, do you know what happened here? Hello, I witnessed it. I do. He looks happy. Like, I do, totally. Oh, I do. These furies, although they tout an array of enhanced abilities, are still susceptible to uncontrollable episodes of bloodlust. The only means of satiating them, of which I'm sure you've become familiar, is giving them a taste of blood when the symptoms begin to appear. The larger the batch of furies, the greater the quantity of blood necessary to keep them obedient. Wait, so this is what all the fighting in Ueno was about? Afraid so. This was intended merely as a precursor to storming Edo Castle in order to feed the Furies. Seeing as Edo Castle was surrendered anyway, Kanai Temple was offered as a suitable alternative. However, not even I am impervious to the tantalizing scent of blood. The smell is driving me mad. Oh no. Sonnen's pupils dilated as he kept his stare fixed on the corpses, which frightened me to the core. I chose to give him blood. Come on. His bloodshot eyes filled with a startling shade of crimson, which was followed by a violent tremble throughout his restless, feeble limbs. Cravings for blood inspired anguish beyond compare. I'm a guess in the bad ending for this route, the bad ending for this chapter, we not gonna give him blood, make him endure it, and he's gonna kill us. I'm just guessing, because they always kill us at some point. Every single one of them has killed us. Anyway, Sonnen, stay strong. There's all this blood. I need blood. A haunting, sadistic glow dazzled behind Sonnen's red eyes, which convinced me that he might begin feasting on the bodies scattered around us. That's more disturbing. I was gonna say, I said give him blood, right? Jesus. I was getting worried there. In a fit of panic, I unsheathed my kodachi to lacerate my forearm as recompense. If it's blood that you crave, then please, drink mine. You're better off with mine. He was kissed by a touch of insanity. Sonnen dove toward my arm in eager anticipation, lapping up my trickling blood like a starved canine. I can't pant, but like, anyway. Forgive me, Yukimura. I paid him no mind as he engorged on my fluids. That just sounds so... Fluids. It's like moist. As I felt entranced by the dull sting of his mindless sucking. There was satisfaction to be taken in knowing that I, above the Shogi Company's tragic remains, could do something to soothe Sonnen's rapacious thirst. Interesting. Yukimura. I ran my fingers through Sonnen's hair, tugging slightly in response to the touch of his avid, sensual mouth. This is actually kind of like... I know he's drinking her blood. Okay, we got to get the vampire... In the vampire sense of things. Well, that's adorably sexy. But, like, she's running her fingers through his hair. Damn, girl, getting into this. Right? It's because he's so adorable and loving and it's romantic and you're like, I'm just going to run my fingers through his hair. Jeez, get a little sexy. Wow. I love this map so much. Look, Saito's my number one, but Sonnen's path is fucking better. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I love Saito to death. I fucking do, but Jesus Christ, you just give Sonnen a little bit. You're like, hi. You just smile at him right, and he's like all sorts of fucking over you romantic. It's beautiful. Anyway, how foolish of me. Speaking ill of those creatures as I find myself descending into the same pitfall. I should consider myself lucky that you were here to save me. My sincerest thanks, Yukimura. All that matters to me is that you're safe. After his refractory period, Sonnen's condition seemed to stabilize, and he patted his snug clothing before pointing at me to follow him towards the temple. Patting his snug clothing. You're like, I'm just trying to check out your legs in those pants. Because I'm sure he's wearing a long coat. You can't check out his ass, but you'd totally be, I'll follow behind you at a distance. I'm a safe distance behind you. It's just your ass on those pants is amazing. But he's probably got like a long coat on. Their coats are probably not short enough to be able to see their butts. What? Come on. You thinking it. You know you want to see it too. Anyway. I have so many problems. So many problems. As Sonnen led me towards Kanae Temple's entrance gate, my stomach turned upon the sight of dozens of bodies, or what remained of them, below us. Initially, I had wished that I could become numb to the sight, but I pondered if such a thing were worse. Are you all right? Yes, I'm fine. Just feeling a little nauseous. Understandable, of course. The spirit can only tolerate so much wickedness before it, too, spirals down the same path. It isn't our nature. Before I forget, Yukimura, have you traveled here alone tonight? No. Earlier this evening, Sen and Kimigiko escorted me here. They should be joining us any minute now. I lost track of the time and began growing anxious. It had been nearly half an hour, perhaps more, since I last saw them, yet neither of them could be found. Forgive me for asking, Sonnen. Would it be okay if I were to go look for them? I'm afraid that they might have gotten caught up in something. By now, the two of them have almost surely been apprehended by the Fury Corps. Resistance at this stage is a hollow pursuit. Best to let them figure it out themselves. Huh? Before I had a chance to put two and two together, the night took a sudden turn for the worse. No, Sonnen, you wouldn't actually really do that to me. You wouldn't actually do that to me, Sonnen. I know you wouldn't. I know this is just a trick. You're not actually gonna do this to me, Sonnen. I know you're not actually gonna do this to me. At last, you've delivered her to me. Allow me to congratulate you, Sonnen. What? Father! Kaoru! I haven't seen you since Fushimi, Spacey.
You look a little troubled, little sister. I'd expect a warmer welcome for your father and brother.
As I had expected, both Father and Kaoru were waiting for me this entire time. Anxiety dripped from the sweat in my shaky hands, but I did my best to keep my eyes locked on theirs. As I attempted to back away from them, I bumped into Sonnen's chest. You needn't fret, Yukimura. What's better than a family reunion? Sonnen, I love you so much. You have to tell me that this is all just a ploy and you're not... That maybe you went to them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll get her for you, sure. And you had no intention of actually turning me over. And then I showed up and kind of fucked up your shit. So you were like, all right, I got to work with this. I'm just, please. I mean, I know we're going to end up happily ever after with them, but it still makes me... Sonnen, seriously, you've gotten a bad rap in every single other path by being a backstabby asshole. Please don't be a backstabby asshole. And then have a change of heart. You should never have gotten to this point. Because you love me, you should never do this. Anyway, what are you talking about, Sonnen?
Apparently, I receive all the smart genes, eh, sister?
I received.
Face it, he's one of us now. Little did you know, he planned on handing you over as soon as you set foot in Ueno.
He didn't know we were going to follow him. I mean, obviously, because if you think about what he said before, this throws a little chink in the works here. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Basically, you know? As nicely. I mean, he didn't say it quite that way, but it was still like, So this, I wish you hadn't showed up.
Thankfully for us, he's delivered the Shinsengumi's Fury Core to us as well. What a gentleman.
Stop lying. There's no way Sonnen would do that.
If you're so sure, then why don't you ask him yourself?
Kaoru flashed a smug, mischievous smile. I shot Sonnen a desperate glance. Sonnen! Are you still a Shinsengumi man? Sonnen, you're still a member of the Shinsengumi, right? It was proving impossible to steady my quivering voice, let alone form coherent thoughts. At first, Sonnen was silent, forming his lips into a smirk. Yes, of course. In spite of my desertion. Why can I not read today? Like desertion. That's the word. I can't. Anyway. In spite of my desertion, they are an integral part of my being. I exhaled, basking in the glow of relief. It was short-lived, however, as Sonnen continued without a change in his expression. Unfortunately, the Shinsengumi is hesitant to reciprocate my dedication. Despite sacrificing our lives and our time, those petulant fools have forsaken our purpose and duties. At the end of it all, they're far more concerned with their fraying reputation and are content to regulate us to the annals of their cursed history. Sonnen's words were tinged with pain. As badly as I wanted to refute his sentiment, his seething gaze quieted me and his lips curled. And no matter how desperately you wanted to defend me, you've wasted your time. The Shinsengumi's obsolete, which had left me with no other choice but to take my furies with me. But I know he had no intention of turning us over. We just showed up. If we hadn't shown up here, everything would have been different. You know what I mean? Like, we would have been like, where the hell'd Sonnen go? And he would have left us behind, but we followed him, and he was like, oh, why did you follow me? I love you so much, and I left you behind safely, because I didn't want you to get hurt. Sonnen delivered his acerbic criticism coldly, leaving me with no rebuttal. From my peripheral, I saw Father prance in delight towards his new colleague, and from his tone of voice, I could tell he had been reveling in this. Well then, Sonnen, allow me to offer you a proposal. And just as I had asked during Toba Fushimi, do you wish to join me in expanding the boundaries of what the Fury Core is capable of? Yes, I've no other option but to accept. Why? Why, Sonnen? How could you? My knees buckled from shock, trying my best not to give into an overwhelming feeling of defeat. I held my head low, and Sonnen responded with a mere shake of his head. If the Shinsengumi is hell-bent on resisting adaptation, then they're doomed regardless. With Kondo out of the picture, the Shinsengumi will never become more than a shell of itself. As far as I'm concerned, they're all Hijikata's lapdogs. My ambitions are far too great to occupy myself with that. No! My worst fears were unraveling before my eyes. Sanan had given in to the darkness, and now Father had gained the missing piece to his puzzle. The bellow in Sanan's voice was fueled by unstoppable conviction, and I dropped to my knees in disbelief. I was in the den of the beast, a cave built upon lies.
All right, spare us your faux grief, Spacey. You're coming with us. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live with Kodo again?
Before I could react, Kaoru stretched his arm at me, wrapping his slimy fingers around my wrist. I instinctively darted my line of sight towards Sanan, carrying a faint hope that he'd rescue me. But it was useless, and his blank, glassy eyes remained unmoved as Kaoru yanked me closer to his body. He's trying very hard to not kill the motherfucker. I know it, but it still hurts me nonetheless. No! Let go of me!
Release her at once!
Are you safe, Spacey? Thank God for my side bitches. I love them, they're great. Sen! Kimigiku! Fortune smiled upon me as Sen and Kimigiku leapt into the fray, intervening between myself and Kaoru with swords drawn. Out of frustration, Kaoru lashed out with a swing of his blade, which was definitely intercepted by Sen's parry, because she's fucking better than you even though you're supposed to be stronger than her. You dumb fuck, you suck.
Curses! We've got intruders!
I suspected the Fury Core would have deterred you, but I suppose there's still no match for demons. To what pleasure, pray tell, do we owe the Princess of Yase for traveling here all the way from Kyoto?
Don't play coy with me! We're here to deliver justice for the crimes you've committed against our people!
Your insistence on producing fakes is a stain among demonkind. Have you no pride, Kodo Yukamura?
What need have I for pride? Did pride protect any of our kin when our village were massacred by humans? What use was it then? Stop me if you can. I'm ready for it.
I winced in horror as two spots began bulging from Father's forehead, splitting the flesh to reveal horns. That is a power reserved for demons of pure-blooded descent. How can you do that?
Witness the true power of the water of life.
It's not his voice, but whatever. He's crazy now, so it's okay. Father suddenly flung a fistful of what looked to be scalpels toward Kimigiku, which produced a clang against her sword with her quick deflection.
Behold, thanks to the water of life, my power has risen beyond that of a normal demon's capability.
What? How can that be? Don't act so surprised, princess. Why don't you pick on someone your own size? Ah!
Sen and Kaoru began clashing blades, and sparks flew as their steel hissed with consistency. I shuddered, but it was unfair for me to stand and watch. I unsheathed my kodachi resolutely. My palms were clammy as they wrapped around my kodachi's hilt, exacerbated by Kaoru's taunts.
The hell are you doing, Sanan? Hurry up and take Spacey!
Always the first to volunteer another, aren't you? As you wish. I can't. First of all, we're not good at fighting. Second of all, I can't fight Sanan because we're not good at fighting and we love him. This is not gonna... this ain't gonna work. I'd be like, okay, you know what? I would just give up, be like, fine, kill me. It's the only way you're getting on this. You're gonna have to... Good! I hope you fucking kill me, because it would feel better than the way you ripped my heart out, you son of a bitch! I know he's... But the whole him gonna fight me thing. Like, you know I suck at this, so why would you... I know this is all an act, but you're doing it a little bit too well, and I'm a little worried now. Fighting me is unwise. I've been known to get a bit carried away in battle. I'm sure you understand. Don't patronize me! It shattered everything I had known about Sanan to see him vilify the Shinsengumi. He was, as much as Kondo or Hijikata, woven into the fabric of their myth, an embodiment of their values. As I kept the tip of my blade pointed at him, I knew that my chances of victory were slim to none. Pretty much none. My courage felt in short supply, and even for Sen or Kimigiku, Sonnen was a more than worthy adversary. But I couldn't bear to roll over and let him take me. I mean, I want to roll over and let him take me, but not in that way. I mean, in a totally way that's not going to happen right now. I braced myself for impact, holding in my breath as a blinding flash of steel momentarily came into view. Rather than being aimed at myself, however, the sword's arc whizzed past me to strike Sonnen, who narrowly avoided its path. My. I'm going to guess Heisuke because it was a yellow sword flash, and they all have their own special colors for their sword flashes.
You alright, Spacey?
Mm-hmm. The poor puppy is without his pack in Edo. What a surprise, Toto. Told ya. It's yellow.
I know their colors.
Sometimes I can't. Wait, anyway. Heisuke, I thought you joined the rest of the Shinsengumi and Aizu.
Actually, Hijikata ordered me to stay here. I've been keeping an eye on you to make sure you were safe.
Now you have to fight my boyfriend.
Here we are, living in a goddamn nightmare. I've been waiting for Hijikata's suspicion to be proven wrong, but I was a fool for doing so.
So Hijikata had believed me to be a conniving snake all along, had he?
Shut up! Explain yourself, Sonnen!
Hello, Toto, was it? Hadn't realized we invited more guests.
No, pay him no mind, Koto. Toto will be dealt with myself. Once he's finished, no other obstacles remain. Sonnen, you were so sexy when you're in fighting mode, but I can't handle this right now. It hurts so much.
Bring it! If you think you can take me on, then give me everything you got.
The rhythmic clang of Heisuke and Sonnen's swords crashing into one another echoed like thunder, with neither giving the other a chance to rest. Sonnen flipped his sword so that the blade was pointed toward the ground, attempting to stab Heisuke with a downward strike. Heisuke thwarted his move, however, twisting his body to avoid the strike as it retaliated with a swift jab. Sonnen hastily parried it, and the two shared a satisfactory grin in respect to each other's technique. Because they love each other, they're friends. Stop. Toto, care to answer something for me?
What is it?
We're not so different, and a man of your talents would do well on our side. What do you say?
What are you playing at?
By joining myself in Koto, you'd be closer to unlocking your true potential as a Fury.
Be like, really? And give up Spacey? She loves you, goddammit!
Imagine the possibilities. We could extend our lifespan, and perhaps even regain our humanity. If you believe and fight for us, then I believe we could rejoin our allies. Our lives could be reclaimed.
You gotta be kidding me. Count your blessings where you've got them. Face it, man, we're dead. You can't let yourself be swayed by greed, or else you'll regret it, Sonnen.
I lament your position. I thought you, of all people, would resonate with my proposal. It was a dance of swords, both participants trading blows with the full force of their weight behind each strike after bouncing back to catch their breath. It was ebb and flow, a maelstrom of fiery steel. Even if their swordsmanship was equal, however, one of them had a clear, unfair advantage.
Heisuke, behind you!
Die!
Hi! Get the hell out of here!
Heisuke hadn't even bothered to look over his shoulder as he kicked backwards at the Fury soldier. Although Heisuke's ability to multitask was impressive, the split second of distraction was an ample chance for Sonnen to identify and exploit a vulnerable opening. Poor form, Toto.
Damn it!
Too late. Sonnen dodged a frenetic flurry of Heisuke's swings, grinning wryly like a cat ready to pounce upon a rat. Heisuke's eyes widened in horror upon realizing his current predicament. Sonnen once more flipped his sword upside down, dodging a panicked slash from Heisuke to stab his blade deep into his combatant's chest. My hope is that one day you'll learn to thank me for this courtesy, and that I was the one to kill you. Jump in the way, Spacey. You did not just kill... Heisuke! Heisuke! You did not just fucking kill him. Sonnen, I don't know if I can forgive you for that.
Good show all around. Killing off an old comrade for the sake of research. How deliciously sinister.
I'm gonna guess he purposely didn't kill Heisuke.
You've proven to be a worthy accomplice, Sonnen.
Noted. But your compliments do nothing for me. Blood frothed from Heisuke's blubbering mouth, the sight upon which Sonnen sneered coldly. None of this is real, I prayed. I wanted nothing more than to deny that any of this was happening in real time. I fell to my knees, listening to Heisuke gurgle on his own blood. You cannot have just killed Heisuke. How can you forgive him after that? I love you, Sonnen, but how? Oh my god, I don't know how to. I don't know how we're gonna. Did he purposely not kill Heisuke? Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he, like, stabbed him and was like, hi, it looks like he's dying, but if he stabbed him through the heart, he would have died instantly, but he didn't. So, like, maybe he, like, knowing he'll heal and it looks like he's dying and then everyone thinks he's dead, but then he's like, he didn't die, and, but, like, still? That's the only thing I can hope for, because I don't know how you're going to forgive him after that. I love you, Sonnen, but that's unforgivable. Like, you just. Anyway. I woke, lying in a sparsely furnished room with the ringing headache, touching my hand to my cheek to trace the dried, scabbed cut. Details of what happened towards the end of being in Kanai Temple were fuzzy, but I had later gathered that I had been taken to the Shirakawa Castle in Oshu. Oshu, a city of culture that, allegedly, is second only to Kyoto in terms of art, culture, and entertainment, but it was famously divided at the end of the Boshin War. Father occupied this castle alongside his forces, and he saw to it that I was kept under strict house arrest. Up until this point, they hadn't made my imprisonment difficult, much to my surprise. On the contrary, they treated me graciously and with dignity, which was eerie to think about. Of course, that courtesy hadn't extended beyond being able to exit the confines of the locked bedroom. Instead, I was made to wait, wallowing in my pathetic uselessness as time slipped from my hands like sand. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Hours felt stretched like mochi over the tongue. Soon it became difficult to hold any reasonable track of time. My only frame of reference to approximate the hours of the day was when meals were unceremoniously carried to my room. Oh my god. This hurts so bad because you love him so much, and I really feel like he didn't want to turn you over, but you showed up. So I know that he fucking loves us, but at the same time, it's like... Hold on, I want to see something. Yeah, we got full bloom. Oh my god, he's mid-corruption, though. How are you mid-corruption? We've given you blood every chance. Wow. Anyway, we've given him blood every single time. That's kind of messed up. Wow. That's what the guide said? I don't know. But I'm just wondering, like, he totally fucking loves us, so he's got to be playing along with this, but that's got to hurt him if you think about it. Like, all we think is, like, he betrayed us, and I loved you, and you killed Heisuke, and blah, blah, blah. But he's like, I can't tell you what I was doing, and you got in the way, and I had to do what I had to do, and I didn't really kill him, and I can't tell you any of this shit, because... So it's like, he's gonna find a way to get you out, and, like, save you, and everything's gonna be okay, I hope. I fucking hope! Because I don't know how you can... But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's gotta, like, let's just say all of that is what's going on. That's gotta feel like shit for him because he's totally in love with you and you're just like, fuck you. Like, and now you're glaring at him and you hate him and he's like, just like we're feeling like, oh, why would you do this to me? I know it's probably all a lie, but it still hurts. Oh, the fake knife still hurts. You know, anyway. Excuse me, Yukimura. I've come to deliver your supper. Another meal untouched, eh? Eventually you'll have to develop an appetite, or you'll wither away. I'm not hungry. Well, that's unfortunate to hear. But doesn't this reversal of fortune intrigue you? Now it's me who's serving you food. Humorous, don't you agree? Perhaps you don't. As you recall, when the two of us were still with the Shinsengumi, I relied on you. What happened to Heisuke, Sen, and Kimigiku? I interrupted his antidote in frustration. Sonnen thinned his eyes, letting out a heavy sigh as he recited the same answer he had given before. This might be difficult for you to understand, but regardless of how many times you ask, my answer, the truth, has yet to change. I don't think that's, well, I don't know. It was pathetic. Princess Sen and Kimigiku sniveled, running off with their tails tucked between their legs. As for Toto, I personally killed him and dumped his body in Shinabazu Pond at the Kanai Temple. You lie. You dare call me a liar? Are you being willfully ignorant? Hadn't you seen me thrust my sword into his body before he collapsed like some sickly child? Why? Who are you? This isn't the sun, and I know. You killed him. You were friends. Correction, former friends. I've resigned from my post as colonel of the Shinsengumi. The Makoto flag is dead to me.
Makoto flag, a kanji character used to mean integrity, which is used by the Shinsengumi as a symbol on their flag to define their core tenet.
He has no integrity. That's sad, Sana. My teeth were harshly gritted, creaking in contempt. He was rubbing it in my face, taking pleasure from my helplessness, shattering what remained of my trust. Luckily for myself, neither father nor son had bothered to take my kodachi from me. As I reached for it slowly with my hand, the door startled me as it slid open, and I snapped my hand back to the side of my hip.
Sonnen, how is my daughter doing?
Fuck you two. How nice of you to join. Fuck all of you. I wish you would just say that. Things are going swimmingly in here. Father, Kaoru, I wouldn't even greet them. Why are you talking to them? Why are you saying anything?
Huh, look at those precious cheeks. Still got a little bite in you, do you?
Fuck you.
Might as well give up while you still can. Otherwise, we might have to start experimenting on ways to break you.
Enough, Kaoru. She is still very valuable to us.
Only joking, of course. I'd never do anything to damage that pretty face.
Fuck you, yes you would, you evil son of a bitch. I hope you die. A festering resentment burned in Kaoru's glare, causing the hairs behind my neck to stand upright. I couldn't let them see any signs of weakness in me, though, and I returned the glare twicefold. I wonder if Sonnen is doing this because he thinks that Kodo has a way to cure him of his furiness, right? So then he can, abscond with us and run away. But he's stupid if he believes that, because Kodo knows jack shit. But anyway. Tell me, what do you plan on doing with me? What are you plotting, father?
Isn't it obvious? All that I want for you is to become a part of my legacy. To see that my dream for this country manifests into something real.
Your legacy?
I've decided. I've dedicated decades of my life to honing the water of life into a flawless serum. Sensitivity to sunlight and bloodlust were obstacles, but also opportunities for me to build a perfect fury. My true purpose in this world, however, has nothing to do with the water of life's potency. It's bigger than that. I want every man, woman, and child in this country to taste this serum, to witness the miracle of its powers.
A crooked, joyous grin warped over Father's face. Hearing what his true intentions were was anything but joyous, though, and I was beginning to feel queasy imagining the world he had envisioned. Sonnen and Kaoru merely nodded in silence. Wait, so all this time, you've been masquerading this as a weapon, but you want civilians to take it?
Yes, quite wonderful, isn't it? The distinction between humans and demons will blur, and we can all live in harmony as one people.
I mean, okay, your reasons living in harmony. I get that. Your methods and your path to getting there, crazy as shit, but your reasons behind it, wanting to live in harmony. Yeah. This I get behind. The way you're going about it, though. Right idea, wrong execution.
Casualties and ailments will disappear altogether. A distant memory. Think of the lives we could save. The human body's feeble restraints will fade, and as a collective, we can fight the tide of foreign invasion. Sadly, there's one thing keeping us from seeing this vision brought to life. Ingredients for the serum's mass production are limited and hard to come by. After a long period of deliberation, I found the solution, hiding right underneath our noses.
Oh god, you're gonna milk me for all my blood. Oh my god, I'm just a blood cow. Jesus. Well, I was gonna be a brood mare for Kazama, now I'm gonna be a blood mare for you, whatever. Yeah, Kaoru has demon blood too, motherfucker. Why don't you milk this cunt?
As it turns out, demon blood is the key to cultivating a vast supply of serum. Enough for our entire nation.
Don't tell me.
You, my dear, are of pure-blooded descent. Thus, I can think of no one better to offer as a sacrifice to help me change the course of history.
What about that asshole? Points to Kaoru. There was once a time when I couldn't help but notice the innate kindness resting in Father's eyes. That time it ended, replaced by a salaciousness that haunted me to my core and enveloped me, causing me to shiver with fear, and I took a tepid step backwards from him. Bad ending in this is we get milked for all of our blood and die.
You should feel quite honored, you know. The Yukimura clan, once on the brink of extinction, holds the blood that will shape the fate of our world.
Where the fuck is Kazama when you need him? Ring Kazama! So, I'm totally in love with Sonnen, but he backstabbed me, and now my father wants to milk me for all my blood and murder me to turn everyone into Furies, and you don't like that idea, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna need you to come here, rescue my ass, and I'll be your wife. It's cool. Let's just... Let's do this deal, okay? Because, like, this shit, nah. And then it'll break little Sonnen's heart, and then maybe he'll actually fight for us and stop this goddamn ruse!
I can't handle the ruse! Enough with your shenanigans, Sonnen.
Anyway.
Join me, my child. Join me in making a difference and end the plight and suffering of your kin.
I don't really have fucking choice, do I?
No! I would never, ever help you do such a horrifying thing.
I threw a fit, shaking my head in a white-hot rage. A father who cut his teeth saving the lives of his patients was proposing to infect the country for his own delusional sense of justice. Sacrificing your own daughter's blood to produce furies, eh? Some father you are.
Watch it there, man. Might want to choose your words carefully. Besides, she's not really his daughter.
You're also of blood. Can somebody point out that this little cunt nuffet could fucking hate Kaoru? Somebody point out that this little douche weasel is a pure-blooded demon too, and he's more worthless than me. I can be sold to Kazama. I'm just saying. What? I wasn't his real daughter? Didn't we already know that? I guess she didn't in this path.
You're real dense, you know that? Think about it. If we're siblings, why the hell do you hear me referring to him by his name? The man you know as father, Koto Yukimura, adopted you for one sole purpose. All those memories you have, forget about them. This guy's your abductor, not your father. I didn't have that luxury. After he deemed me useless, he left me with the Nagumo clan. Talk to me when you know the real meaning of pain.
You were such a fucking cunt, and I hope someone stabs you. I don't feel bad for him at all. Like, I don't. I hate him. Nagumo clan, a remote second-tier demon clan based in the Tosa domain. Second tier. How is any of this possible? Oh, get over it. My world was spinning, replaying Kaoru's words in my head. You should be happy, like, oh, well, thank God, because if you were my real father and you wanted to murder me, that would really suck. This is a little bit less suckish. Still sucks. Not as bad, though. Replaying Kaoru's words in my head, though they failed to register. I darted a look over at Father, whose only response was a smug, toothy smile.
Our relation may not be by blood, but nothing can change the fact that I raised you as my own.
To be a blood bank.
Spacey, be a good girl. You want to help your father, don't you?
Fuck you. No, Father. I can't. Even for you. You're not my father, so fuck you even more than fuck you'd before. Poisoning innocent lives and turning them into furies against their consent is inconceivable! What world do you expect anyone to live in afterwards? Ash, blood, and rubble. It's madness.
Hear that, Sonnen? She thinks a world with only furies is madness.
Oh. Sonnen offered me no response, choosing instead to tilt his gaze downwards, causing my guilt to flare. Why do you... Okay, no, I know. Like, I love him, and I know this is all a ruse, and that would actually hurt him, and we feel bad about that. But in her mind right now, he's an evil son of a bitch that betrayed us, so you shouldn't care if you hurt his feelings. You should want to hurt his feelings to get back at him. And you shouldn't worry about hurting his feelings, because you don't know that he loves you, and he's going to save your ass. Anyway, Mother pounced on this moment of vulnerability, sinking me deeper and deeper into self-loathing.
You're not the only one who feels that way. Of that I'm certain. You're like the Shinsengumi men. Relying on fury powers is well and good when it's convenient for you, but you can't handle the power. You can't handle the power. In the end, like you, they're all just afraid. Afraid of how meek and worthless they are compared to Furies.
Right, you are. No, I think...
Look at you, rushing to deny the truth. You've never been any good at lying, you know. Well, I'm not going to fool myself into thinking that you'll come to realize just how precious Furies are anytime soon, either. There's still time. I'll let Sonnen do the talking for me. Perhaps he can convince your stubborn mind otherwise. That way, I have faith you'll come around and begin to see things from my perspective.
Father waxed on condescendingly, not bothering to wait as he beckoned Kaoru to follow his exit. Oh, thank God, I hate them both. Please make sure you fall down the stairs and die.
In the meantime, I'll permit you to roam limited portions of the castle. Sonnen, I'll leave her to you.
I'm surprised you weren't like,
I'll have Sonnen convince you by forcibly raping you.
what? Sonnen wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying, I'm surprised Koda wasn't like, do whatever you want with her. We just need her blood. I don't give a shit about her body. You know what I mean? You know, because he's a fucking cunt of a father. He's a terrible human being. He redeemed himself in Okita's path, but you know what? That doesn't forgive him in this, because in this one he's a dick and he's not going to save us, so. Understood. As Father and Kaoru sauntered out of the room, a somber mood fell heavily throughout the room. I shot Sonnen a menacing glance, hoping that he'd stand no chance of missing how upset I felt. His betrayal shattered my confidence in him. He had played me for a fool, and I felt doubly foolish for having believed in him. Sonnen murdered Heisuke in cold blood, knocked me unconscious, and abducted me to bring me here. Plus, he pretended that he cared about us when he left. You know he did. You know that's all true, but for the time being, I hated him more than anything. And yet, as you heard, I've been ordered to, somehow, make it easier for you to stomach our proposal. We might as well begin, shall we? Come join me in my quarters. I shall prepare some tea for us. No. Why would you go? By my estimation, it had been somewhere close to 10 days since I was held captive in that cramped room. Getting out of it hadn't necessarily improved my foul mood, but being able to stretch my legs and take in a breath of fresh air was a welcome change. As Sonnen led me down the hallway, I first observed how eerily spacious and devoid of life the castle was, likely attributed to all of the Furies on patrol. Eventually, Sonnen stopped in front of his door, pausing for a second before sliding it open to reveal a bare room filled with an array of stacked documents that bore no resemblance to his room from when he lived with the Shinsengumi, so I assumed it was assigned to him rather than chosen. He then poured me a cup of tea. Now, I must admit, the appropriate method of initiating this conversation somewhat escapes me. Well, then let me ask you a question first. By all means, is this really what you want? Are you oblivious to how insane my father sounds? He's gone mad. I can't believe that he's planning on forcing everyone to drink the water of life. I had faith in you, Sonnen, and you destroyed that. How would you respond if I said that I do find merit in his plan? If I must suffer the burden of loneliness, of anguish from becoming a fury, then the rest of the world should be made to suffer alongside me. My existence bears no meaning. As the world turns, I find myself to be a passenger, not a participant. And the thing is you knew, I can understand of like, maybe he's like, are you still battling with how you feel? Because you were like, do you feel, before you left us, you admitted that maybe you thought we had feelings for you. So you know, on some level, that we have feelings for you, and you would do this to us? Like, Sonnen, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Are you maybe that's why he's mid-corruption. He's literally lost his fucking mind. I couldn't be further from the truth. I know you, Sonnen. There's kindness inside of you. That's why none of this makes sense to me. You weren't cruel. You just misunderstood. Not a single person has ever said as much to me. It feels like ages since anyone has described me as kind. A genial smile formed in Sonnen's thin lip. Sanen's thin lips, but as he chewed on the word for a minute longer, his expression became suddenly bitter. I bit my lip nervously, sitting at the opposite end of Sanen's piercing stare until he shook his head. I can't read anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. As always, your intuition is on point. No, Kodo and I do not see eye to eye on every measure of his grand plan. On the contrary, I find it rather foolish. A simple deduction pokes holes into its logical feasibility. Then, why go through all of this? Why did you sneak out of the Shinsengumi to work under my father? Do you truly want to know? I fear disappointing you with how straightforward my answer may seem. I don't care. Please, I just need to know. I need to hear it from you, so I can know whether or not to trust you. It was an act of preservation for my Furies. My greatest desire is to help restore their humanity. A listless smile curled on the corner of Sanen's mouth, warm and fleeting like a summer sunset. Then he pulled the collar of his shirt to expose his bare chest. Whoa, hi. I was aghast, throwing my hands over my mouth. His skin had dried and cracked like stone, stretching over his pale, narrow left shoulder. Oh, but hi. Oh, like Sanen, half shirtless. This is nice. I like this. What happened to you? To, to, to your arm? That's the shoulder that was injured. Look at how pretty he is, and good lord, hi. You witnessed it yourself, hadn't you? The Furies, on the edge of death, wither to ash. Such is the fate of those before me, and perhaps my turn is next. We can't let him die! I've suspected for some time this is an unsightly symptom of that very same phenomenon. In fact, I'm certain of it. No! Some of the Furies whom I'd asked to accompany my departure share these symptoms. To tell you the truth, I hadn't expected to last as long as I have. It was 3 years ago that my life ended. So Sanen was dying. That is so sad. Is that why you're so obsessed with working with my father on his research? Precisely. Remaining with the Shinsengumi would have been a death sentence, a period of waiting until expiry. The sacrifices were made, ones I'm not proud of. I betrayed you, the Shinsengumi, and Toto. All of this in the interest of protecting the Furies who entrusted me to nurture and save their lives. Heisuke wasn't so lucky, though, was he? Well, he had to abide by his own orders. The least I could do for him was to end him myself. His casualty was an unfortunate circumstance. I love you, but I don't know if I can forgive you for actually killing Heisuke. I don't know. I mean, we forgave Heisuke for killing you because you were evil and psycho and he had to do it, but you didn't have to kill him. Sanen turned his head wistfully, hastily covering his chest back up as he glanced off to the side in contemplation. But hi, getting a little undressed in front of me. You should just keep taking your shirt off, that's all I'm saying. And then he quickly puts up, look, he took off the cravat, the vest, the coat, all of that shit just to be like, and you were like, what are you doing? And it was just quick. Damn, he's a fucking clothes taking off ninja, that's all I'm saying. I've known for some time that this would come. I'd braced myself for it. In fact, if I were the only one who'd become a Fury, then I would have followed a similar path to Toto. Sadly for myself, too many men have been afflicted by the taste of the wretched serum. I cannot bear the thought of abandoning them by dying before I repay the accursed debt to which they're owed. Initially, I took some pride in being a Fury, but now I scoff at the thought. Sanen gave a derisive laugh, and I couldn't help but feel sorrow at his lamentable position. Of course, I still couldn't forgive him for killing Heisuke, nor had I any intention of doing so. But what right did I have to criticize him for fighting to shape his own destiny? There was an altruistic end to his dastardly means. Under his wing were the fragile lives of the Furies he swore to protect from those who had them condemned to remain hidden in the shadows. You needn't lend me your pity. I summoned my fate unto myself. My only regret is that everything I had done up till now is, well, meaningless. What do you mean by that? After the two of us conducted a preliminary round of experiments, Makoto made something explicitly clear. Those who've submitted to the Fury's hold stand no chance of becoming human once more. Or so he says. Seeing the fruits of betrayal, of a murder I'd never wanted to commit, amount to this. If gods exist, then they've been surely seeing to it that retribution for my actions is paid in full. A regretful frown covered Sanen's face, and I said, "Please don't let it get to you." A solemn glow twinkled faintly in Sanen's eyes, and I reached out to touch his soft, rosy cheeks. I wondered if they felt as warm to him as they did to me. If, somehow, I could transfer the heat in my fingers to his face, I could get through to him. And so, I moved to cup his cheeks with both of my hands. Oh god, are we gonna get the kiss thing has to fucking happen and I would just die. You are still alive. Weren't you listening? I have little time before my body reduces to ash. But, for the time being, you're still here. Am I wrong? If the only thing you've taken from any of this is that you don't feel like you'll ever become human. Sure, the option of returning back to normal might not be available yet, but there may be a way of prolonging your life while you're still a Fury. Well, silence hovered between us, save for the sound of steam hissing from my teacup. His son let my words sink. He bit his lips and hastily wrapped his hand around my arm. I gasped and he spoke under his breath. I don't understand you. What compels you to extend your kindness to me? I deserve nothing. Not after what I've done. I fucking love you. Have you not figured that out? Each time you do so, I'm coaxed by a seemingly impossible hope. In spite of my efforts to stop it, it lingers. I carry a thin dream that one day we could be together. But ever the pragmatist, I know it to be futile. No, not as much as you might think. I think what you just said sounds beautiful. This hurts me so much. Listen, when all of this is over, why don't you and I go on a journey? Just the two of us. We could find a quaint town where no one knows our name, where there are no Furies anywhere, and we can make dinner every night, and enough. The pain is enough without you here to tease me. But what if, like you said, you could return to being a human? No, it shouldn't be conditional. We could do it even if you were still a Fury. Can't you see? We could build a home together, and while you read or write, I could serve you tea, just the way you like it. Are you deaf? I'm a Fury. I cannot indulge in a delusional woman's idle fantasies. Girl, you just force yourself on him and kiss him right the motherfucking now. You know, when you disappeared from the headquarters, I was worried sick about you. I searched for you day and night, and not a single day went by where I hadn't thought about you. You have no idea how much I've missed you. A glimpse of your face, your soothing voice. This whole path kills me. And that's when I began to realize how drawn I am to you. Stop this. I've already told you. I'm a Fury. That doesn't matter. Silence. We're through with discussing this. Ah! What? We're through with discussing this. I'm just gonna kiss you. I love it! As Simon interjected, he grabbed my chin with his index finger and thumb and pulled me closer to him. Oh god. Especially I do like that, like because the glove. The whole I'm going to hold your chin with my thumb, but I've got fancy gloves on. I don't know why that's so much sexier, but it is. With an inspective, focused gaze, he stared at me. What do you plan on doing to me? I attempted to budge out of his grip, but he was forceful, tugging on my chin just as quickly. Don't force yourself out of his grip. You want to kiss him as much as he wants to kiss you, girl. Just let it happen. The longer he delayed his answer, the more anxious I became, until at last I felt the tingle of his whispered words upon my sweaty face. Oh, I love it. Get a little bit of that asshole, but you're amazing and it's sexy. I love it. If you so desire to continue this conversation, then I must force your mouth shut. Please do. Is this acceptable to you? I can neither accept nor retort, offering instead to grunt begrudgingly. Please? I'm a fury. Whatever idle fantasies you may delude yourself into thinking are nothing more than illusion or daydream. Wake up. Well, maybe I like dreaming. This time, I promise not to let my faith in you waver. All that I ask is that you have faith in me too, Sonnen, and that you'll let me go wherever you go. Just please, don't leave me behind again. A life without you is one I can't afford to experience. This again. You were seriously such a... Sonnen inched his face forward. Suddenly my face went numb, feeling Sonnen's tender lips press against mine. For fuck's sake, you don't leave me like you did with Saito, where it's a CG like this. I want the full fucking thing. You talk far too much, but I find you precious all the same. Now, are you ready? Ready for what? I'm ready. I thought he already kissed her, but ready for me to shut that mouth of yours. Ah! Look, if you're... In this case, in this instance, like, I'm gonna shut your mouth. Please fucking do! Sonnen took hold of me, keeping his arms fixed on the small of my back as he drew me into his warm embrace. I felt the nibble of his soft lips against my own, followed by his tongue flicking against mine gently. My cheeks were scorching red from blush, but even they couldn't compare to my heart's burning fire. I know I feel it too! Oh my god, this whole fucking route! This is the fucking best. This is the fucking best. I can't even. Every hair on my body stood, engulfing me in a pleasant tingle as Sonnen muttered into my ear, because he's been like super romancy adorable. I mean, okay, we got some backstabby creepy, and like I still don't know if I can forgive him for killing Heisuke, but I forgot about it already. I'm horrible. I'm sorry, Heisuke, but this man is fucking, I can't. Anyway. If our love is meant to be, and you wish to remain at my side, then I shall protect you with my life. Do you think you're ready for that? I nodded in response, letting myself sink against his bosom. We have a bosom, he doesn't. His chest. Whatever. After a moment of holding each other, he backed away. Sonnen, I still have a mission to complete, which, in the meantime, may require precarious actions of which you may disapprove. Do you understand? Yes. That sounded more like me saying it in his voice. Yes. In spite of what I've become, you've... This is where... Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna stop. I know... Okay, I know this is in the middle of the conversation, but I can't let this part go super long because we're getting to the end of his route, and I don't want to go super long and like another hour long. Plus, I'm fucking starving, so I really want to eat. I'm gonna end this part here. I know I'm cock blocking you in the middle, but we're about to give him blood, blah blah blah, and like, so this is a good enough place to stop. So we'll come back and do that. That's the last choice we have in this chapter. So I think the next part will be the last part. To get the good ending, and then obviously we have all the bad endings. So we'll probably have at least 2 more parts, 1.5 to 2. But you know, the half a part counts as a part, so it might not be a full length part. But anyway, but yeah. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.